Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night. Good night to the good people of St. Michael Central, and of course the adjoining constituency of St. Michael Northeast. Good night to the people of Bush Hall, Yard Gap. Good night to all of the constituencies that are represented. And of course, a special, warm welcome to the good people of St. Michael North. It is always a pleasure to mount a platform to speak on the behalf of this great institution, an institution that I fell in love with many years ago, an institution that I just didn't fall in love with it because of any family connection or any kind of loyalty along those lines, no family loyalty. But I fell in love with the Barbados Labour Party when I became a young man that could think for himself. And I started to analyze the political landscape in Barbados. And when I looked at the Barbados Labour Party and its track record, and not only its track record in terms of its progressive policies and its legislation that has transformed the landscape of Barbados, but even when I look at the very motto of this great institution that we are a part of, when you have a political institution that has at its bedrock a philosophy of producing and providing a better life for its people, that is an institution that you want to be a part of. So I fell in love with the Barbados Labour Party because its entire mandate aligns with mine. A good party, as was said. A great party. And one of the longest existing political institutions in the Western Hemisphere, if not the oldest, established in 1938. So I love to mount the platform to support the Barbados Labour Party. But I'm also pleased when I get the opportunity to come and to join some of my fellow candidates and to endorse them for you. And I'm sure that none of you here have any doubts in your mind about the candidate for St. Michael Central in this upcoming general election for the Barbados Labour Party, Miss Tyra Trotman. I know I don't have to convince you all about her tenacity. I know I don't have to convince you all about her enduring spirit. I know I don't have to convince you all about her perseverance. I know I don't have to convince you all that though she is young, she has a fire in her belly to represent people. I know I don't have to convince you all that come February 11th that you should vote for Tyra Trotman to be your representative here in St. Michael Central. I know I don't have to do that. I know I don't have to do that. But I will do it anyway. Because she deserves the vote and she deserves the support. And not only because of what I just mentioned, but because this constituency has been represented by a predecessor of hers, the Speaker of the House, the Honorable, the Most Honorable, His Excellency, His Honor, Arthur Holder. Put your hands together for Mr. Speaker, man. Though not being able to speak in Parliament, and sometimes I must tell you he would break that rule a little bit or bend it. Let me say not break, because he would not take kindly to me saying he breaks the rules. But he would bend that rule sometimes, and he would put in a little note on behalf of his people here in St. Michael Central. Every once in a while, he would put in a little something on the behalf of his people. But I can assure you that even outside of the hallowed chambers of Parliament, that this man was fighting ferociously on the behalf of the interests of the people of St. Michael Central. And I believe strongly that that same dedication, that same commitment that he has now passed on, now the baton has been passed on to Ms. Tyra Trotman to carry on the work of building out this constituency of St. Michael Central to give it a better life for the people of the constituency. So I support Ms. Tyra Trotman. And as we are on the border, I don't have to tell you about our beloved Prime Minister, Mia Mottley. I don't have to convince you about her. In fact, if it was not for our Prime Minister, the Honorable Mia Amor Mottley, there would be no Tyra Trotman, and certainly there would be no Davidson Ishmael. This is a party that supports its young people. This is a party that gives opportunity to its young people to be able to grow and to be able to develop and to sometimes make mistakes and stumble and fall and to miss all the challenges, to rise again, to become stronger. Because the strongest steel is forged from the hottest fires. This is a party that believes in its young people. All around this party you find young people. They're active sometimes in the shadows, in the background, but they're actively doing work. And that is because we have a leader that believes in young people. So I personally, from this platform tonight, want to say a heartfelt thank you to the Prime Minister of our country, the political leader of this great institution, the Barbados Labour Party, for seeing in me some potential to be able to not only be a candidate, but also to be a minister in her government for the last 4 years. I thank you, Madam PN. I love this party. I love you too, baby. I love you too. So this party is not just a fly-by-night party. It has done tremendous work. When we came in 2018, there was much work to be done. This country was on the precipice of disaster, ladies and gentlemen. And oftentimes people forget the work that had to be put in to bring this country back from the brink of destruction. You know what? Sometimes sometimes we stumble over our own success. And I say that meaning that sometimes we make it look so easy. We made the progress that has taken place over these last 7 going on 8 years as being in charge of the affairs of this country. We make it look so easy that sometimes people take it for granted. But ladies and gentlemen, when we came in as an administration in 2018, and we found not only sewage on the streets, but we also found a treasury that was almost bankrupt. Not being able to manage the financial affairs, 3 weeks of import cover was left there for us to be able to manage the financial affairs of our country. All it took was one calamity, one disaster, one COVID, and we would have been wiped out. People don't understand and appreciate that we had to... ladies and gentlemen, I saw my colleagues working 24 hours a day almost. They were working tirelessly, assiduously, meeting after meeting, engagement after engagement. There's so much work that went in. And as our Prime Minister, many hands made light work. Everybody's hand was to the plow, trying to get this country pulled back from the cliff that the Democratic Labour Party had us upon. And we were about to fall off. Tremendous work was done. Do not take it for granted. Do not take it lightly. So when we come out here, we talk about strong leadership for challenging times. We're not making sport or poo-pooing anything. We are saying that these are challenging times ahead of us, and we need to have the strongest leadership in place. We need to have steady leadership in place. We need to have sure leadership in place. So you can only have that in the Barbados Labour Party. We are tested and tried. We have been tested and tried. We have gone through COVID, tested and tried. We went through asphalt, tested and tried. We went through natural disasters galore, tested and tried. The record speaks for itself. But even as we look at some specifics, because I don't have too much time with you tonight, but I want to go on to some of the areas that we would have actually made significant achievements in the area of healthcare. I've had the privilege for the last 2 years to serve in the Ministry of Health and Wellness. I'm thankful to the Senior Minister of the Ministry, the Most Honorable Jerome Walcott, who has championed and led the ministry ably for many years. And as I came into the ministry, we divided the ministry, and he has areas of responsibility. I have areas of responsibility. And one of those areas of responsibility that I have is relative to our mental health and wellness in Barbados. Mental health in particular, wellness generally. And one of the things that we were able to establish during that time, as some of you may be familiar with it, you've heard the ads on the radio, etc., Lifeline Barbados. Lifeline Barbados. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a situation in Barbados where the access to various support when it comes to mental health over the years has been inadequate. Persons oftentimes when they're going through a mental health challenge, they don't know where to turn, they don't know who to turn to. I must tell you that there are young people in particular that don't often feel comfortable speaking to their parents, speaking to friends, speaking even to classmates or even school counselors about the challenges that they're having from a mental health perspective. And this is nothing for persons to be ashamed of, but there is a level of hesitation that people exhibit and experience when it comes to speaking out their business and speaking about things that are challenging them. So we've had, over the years, a challenge of accessibility to support services. So the ministry decided that we're going to do something about this. We're going to create a 24-hour hotline that would allow persons to be able to make anonymous calls to reach experts, trained, skilled experts that will be able to help them to navigate whatever that mental health challenge that they were facing at their time. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not just talking about acute mental illness. I'm talking about sometimes some depression. You know, sometimes a boyfriend or girlfriend got some challenges and the fallout. I want to say it down with you. And the other one can't take the done so good. So we just do the start to cry and the ball and different things like that. And in that moment, you may need somebody that can support you. Somebody that can tell you everything is going to be all right. Somebody that can tell you, you know what? Tomorrow is going to be a brighter day. So we created Lifeline Barbados to be that for the people of Barbados. And since we established that, we have received thousands of calls from Barbadians, young and old, who are in need of a word of comfort, a word of encouragement when they needed it most. So Lifeline Barbados, it can be said, has saved lives in this Barbados. 24 hours a day. It is available to you to call at any time. We established that. In addition to that, ladies and gentlemen, we established the Mental Health Commission, an agency, an entity that has the responsibility of looking at the mental health landscape, looking at what is available in terms of support for the people of Barbados, how accessible it is, how affordable it is, looking at the entire ecosystem relative to mental health. And we drove this commission, we established this commission with experts from all areas of the mental health ecosystem. Psychologists, psychiatrists, mental health advocates, persons who have experience with mental illness. All of these persons make up the Mental Health Commission. And the Mental Health Commission has done a phenomenal work over the last year and a half or so in being able to review our mental health legislation, to take a look at it and say, you know what, this decades-old legislation is now dated. It is too old. It is not relevant for today and today's times. And through the work of that dedicated Mental Health Commission, we now we are on the precipice of being able to update our mental health legislation and bring it into the 21st century, making it more patient-centric. Focus on the patient and their well-being and their good. But we didn't stop there. I hear a lot of persons talking about the challenges that we have at the accident and emergency. And whilst we appreciate that there are challenges and there are things that need to be improved, I'm the first person to tell you that there's room for improvement when it comes to the entire health system. And of course, at the accident and emergency. I've said it several times in Parliament when I spoke. But I also know that there's been significant work done to help us to improve the situation at the accident and emergency. Not only in terms of physical infrastructure upgrades and expansion, but in terms of equipment purchases as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I came into this ministry and I realized, having been given the responsibility for non-communicable diseases, NCDs, cancer being one of the chief of them, I realized that we did not have access to the best in care to be able to help persons to address cancer in our island. One piece of equipment that can make a world of difference is called a linear accelerator. And for years, the linear accelerator was something that people within the corridors of the QEH would talk about. They would say, if we had a linear accelerator, we wouldn't have to send that person overseas for treatment. If we had a linear accelerator, we may have been able to save that person's life and make a more timely intervention. If we had a linear accelerator, this would not be a case that we have to refer to any specialist anywhere else. We could use the linear accelerator. For years, we talked about the linear accelerator. But I am happy that I stand and serve in a BLP administration that not just talked about acquiring a linear accelerator, but has purchased a linear accelerator, and it is functioning in the QH today. It is functioning. Lives are being saved. Interventions are being delivered to help our people to better navigate a challenging time. I see you. Thank you. So we've invested in a linear accelerator, but not only that, $130 million has been earmarked for further equipment purchases within our QEH. Lots of money, lots of people. The Prime Minister would often say that when it comes to health, it's actually the second highest priority when it comes to how we spend in this administration. The first is national security, safety of our people. The second is health and wellness. And the Prime Minister, as I sat in estimates with her year after year, she has not turned down the Ministry of Health when they asked for more posts. She has not turned down the Ministry of Health when we asked for more equipment. She has not turned down the Ministry of Health when we asked for a larger budget to be able to do the things that we need to do. She has put healthcare first. This administration has put healthcare first. And millions, hundreds of millions of dollars have been allocated on a yearly basis to help us to be able to better deliver. I want to move forward now. Those are some of the achievements. Those are some of the investments. But I would have mentioned last night, excuse me, I would have mentioned last night that in our manifesto, we are now coming to you and saying we want to win the war against NCDs. It is a top priority for us. Of the 14 priorities that we have listed, the war against NCDs and winning it is a priority for us. And how are we going to do that? We are transforming our polyclinics, the 9 of them that we have, into what we're calling community wellness centers. And what does that mean for you? It means that the polyclinic will become your first responder. It will be the place that you go to get screened, to be able to determine if you have diabetes, if you have hypertension, if you have cancer. And even as I say that, our administration and this Ministry of Health was able to successfully pilot a colorectal cancer pilot screening in 2 of our polyclinics to allow us to be able to find the citizens in Barbados that may be at higher risk for developing colorectal cancer. And that screening pilot has been successful in being able to identify persons and catch them early so that interventions can be made early so that lives can be changed and saved. That is work that has already been done. And we are investing, as we bring this manifesto to you, we are investing and carrying that even further in establishing our polyclinics as community wellness centers. In addition to that, we're going to be expanding our outdoor gyms and wellness facilities. I have one in Eden Lodge in particular. It is a community and outdoor gym that allows persons to be able to go and to exercise and to do what they have to do to keep themselves fit. And I must tell you, it is a pleasure for me to pass through Eden Lodge on evenings to see people walking around the pasture and to also see them stopping and going and doing some push-ups and different things on the community gym that is established. It is put there for their benefit, for their health, and for their wellness. And we're going to be expanding that across the country. So ladies and gentlemen, my time is up. But it's been a pleasure being here with you in Bush Hall this evening. It is a pleasure being here to be able to endorse Ms. Tyra Trotman to be the next representative for the constituency of St. Michael's Central. And I'm asking you on February the 11th, go and not only vote for Tyra, vote for Tyra, vote for Tyra, vote for Tyra, but vote for every single candidate of the Barbados Labour Party and vote for Mia Amor Molly to be our Prime Minister to continue the progress. Thank you and good night.